Remember The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody? I mean, that's my childhood right there, and I love that show and still love it. I mean, it's nostalgic, right? Well, things aren't so sweet right now, at least not for Cole Sprouse, as he's gotten a lot of backlash following an interview he recently did, and this hate came way before the interview was even released, too. Cole went on Call Her Daddy this week, and just from the minute-long preview that was put out, the comment section was wild, and they were just not happy with what he was saying. So this is the little teaser that was put out.
Cole Sprouse, welcome to Call Her Daddy.
Hey, thanks for having me.
How did booking The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody change your life?
Ripped from my mother and given to my father. It's probably the greatest wound in my life.
When did you start dating?
You want to hear about how I lost my virginity?
Please tell us.
This is such a great story.
Have you ever been cheated on?
Yeah, by almost every single one of my girlfriends.
You had a relationship with a castmate on Riverdale. How did you navigate a breakup with someone that you work with?
Ooh, it was really hard. I know we both did quite a bit of damage to each other.
Why did the relationship end?
The teaser, like I said, got him so much hate, with people upset to hear that he's going to be talking about his ex Lily Reinhart. And since they're co-stars on Riverdale and they're currently still filming the show, people just felt like this was so weird for him to be talking about her when they still have to interact with each other. The comments under the teaser were, "They have not finished filming Riverdale. Cole Sprouse is so unserious. The last few months about to be hell on that set. This is a message for Cole Sprouse only. Keep my wife, Lily Reinhart's name out of your mouth. Especially on International Women's Day, get a life, it's been 3 years. Dude's a walking red flag at this point. The way he's talking, he thinks he's so important, OMG. What a loser. This is loser behavior. So glad she's out of the relationship, she deserves better. He seems like an unbearable person to be around, LMAO. Talk about creating a hostile work environment." People also judged him for smoking indoors during the interview, saying it was giving them the ick, and also saying, "I hope they're changing mics cause that smell sticks. We smoke cigs indoors now?" Once the interview came out, I figured I had to watch it, since so many people seemed to already be upset by what he was saying just by the trailer. And I mean, he definitely did seem like he was about to like spill tea or talk negatively about Lily in the trailer, even though he didn't actually go into much detail about her and their relationship. In the beginning of the interview, he's talking about being a child actor and how his mom really wanted that life for him and his brother Dylan, saying they didn't really come for much and that they were able to provide for their family by acting. He goes on to talk about how he isn't very resentful of being a child actor, as it did bring him financial security throughout his life, and he's been working for 30 years now because he started so young and is very grateful for the life that he lives. He says that he felt like his brother and him were able to avoid a lot of negative stuff that comes with being a young star in the industry because the lens wasn't on them as much as boys. But others like Miley and Selena faced a lot of hardships because people were fascinated by them growing up.
I think in very many ways, my brother and I were lucky, mainly because we were young boys. Like the fascination when we were younger, at least on the Disney Channel, was like of Miley and Selena and a lot of these girls, because they were heavily sexualized, which is another huge issue. But the fascination, which was young womanhood.
He does admit, though, that he is conflicted in continuing acting because of how he's seen how the industry has really like torn people up. And Alex tries to get him to talk about Disney and what kind of a reputation child stars have from people hating their experience and talking about the dark side of the industry and being very resentful and overworked and it all being about money. And he says that in terms of Disney, when it came to him and his brother, he didn't have much bad to say, and he thinks that some people that have complaints about it are coming from a place of privilege.
Well, funny enough, I get asked about Disney a lot because I think a lot of people want to sort of poke the bear and see, how atrocious the channel was. By the time my brother and I got to Disney Channel, we were good. It was a huge boon to us. Okay. It was in very many ways a life-saving show. It provided us with an amount of stability and consistency and routine that really was needed for my brother and I at the time.
Everyone has had a different experience there. I've had former Disney stars on, and every single person's recount of what happened to them or what they felt from it is very different.
Yeah, that's interesting to me too.
Why?
Because a lot of those kids came from privilege. You know, I find that a lot of the times it's much easier to complain about the business approach of a larger studio when you don't need the money as much.
He says he isn't trying to discredit anyone's story here. He knows being a child star is hard and the workdays are long for kids, but he feels like there's a difference between people who came to Disney and needed money versus those that already had money, acted for fun, and then were upset that they were being worked for all this money. And he's talking about how he feels like there is a bigger conversation to have here and brings up nepotism, which has been a huge conversation in the recent year.
And this Nepo baby argument, as an example, has been, in my opinion, something my brother and I have been talking about since we were kids, but it's now just recently become a hot topic in the public. And you know, this is a major distinction. This nepotism or elitism has existed within the industry for a very long time, and I find it's a lot easier to complain about the philosophy of a boss, like I mentioned earlier, when you come from a position of privilege where maybe you don't need the surplus as much as another child does.
He admits during the interview that his mom lost the money from him in his brother's early days of working, and despite the fact that Alex was grilling him to maybe say he's upset by that, he actually ends up saying that she's human and he understands that it's just something that happened.
Just your mom losing all the money that you worked for and then having to...
I don't blame her. She's human.
Okay.
I think in very many ways we are all more or less durable to the trappings of success, and everyone has their own personal navigation through that stuff. And I think if anyone knew the kind of woman she was, they could have said it would have gone the exact same way.
He says that she is no longer in his life and later says that it's the greatest wound in his life, but he believes she's still his driving force to continue working. He says that maybe he's kind of working to continue that dream that she had for him all those years ago to be an actor. Now, later, when he opens up about relationships, this is what people were not happy with when they saw the preview to the episode. He was asked about cheating and said that he had been emotionally cheated on by nearly every girlfriend he's had and physically cheated on by his first girlfriend. And he does end up admitting that he is taking some blame for a lot that did occur in those relationships that didn't go right.
Not to put it all on you, Cole, but like if there's that theme of emotional cheating, I'm wondering if you've been able to find within yourself, like,
oh, totally.
Were you not giving
totally
openly?
I mean, I've come to terms with my own inability to be emotionally vulnerable over time. And I literally don't blame any of my partners for anything that has happened. Ever. I think it takes two to tango in every relationship that you're in, and anyone that points the finger at another person and blames the entirety of some sort of miscommunication on them is probably not doing the self-work.
So he is taking accountability for those past relationships, and when he did end up talking about Lily, he said it was hard to navigate their breakup while still working together, but they're good friends now.
The work thing got difficult because it was hard to suspend all of the way we felt about each other. And it didn't afford us the luxury of distance to really overcome that. I know we both did quite a bit of damage to each other in that. We're good friends now, which is awesome. We work really well together now.
He did end up saying their relationship lasted as long as it did because they worked together, and said that he did kind of feel a pressure to stay together.
I mean, there was a lot of pressure towards other people, really. I think if I had loved myself a little more, I probably would have left a little earlier, but I just felt like I had to take care of a lot of people around me, which was not good for me. I probably should have exercised a bit more selfishness in that situation.
He goes on to say that they were also super private in their relationship and with their breakup, and that wasn't really a good thing because when he was pictured with somebody else, people thought he was cheating. And this all went down in April of 2020, but he wasn't cheating. And later in August of 2020, he did end up sharing on Instagram that him and Lily had split that January and were officially separated in March. This was the Instagram post that he had posted. It said, "Lily and I initially separated in January of this year, deciding to more permanently split in March. What an incredible experience I had. I'll always feel lucky and cherish that I had the chance to fall in love. I wish her nothing but the utmost love and happiness moving forward. All I'll say about it, anything else you hear doesn't matter." Also, her movie comes out soon. I'm sure she's just as incredible in it as everything else she does. Thanks, guys. He talked to Alex about how he's private and didn't think anything needed to be said, but ultimately it did because people were starting rumors and it was all too much, and so they made this official statement that they were broken up and kind of painted the timeline for everyone. So there were no more rumors of he cheated and this is the reason why they broke up and all of that. Now, something that he did say in this interview though is that he is working on handling public criticism, saying that he's a people pleaser, and so all of this backlash from this interview probably isn't sitting right with him, with the way that he said that he does not like when the public is judging him or not happy with him. And with the way that people were judging the interview based off of the teaser, I'm sure he was in a panic about what people thought he was about to say about Lily and if he was about to disrespect her. And I don't think that it was as bad as people thought it was going to be. I think that he was quite respectful of her and the relationship. Obviously awkward to bring up the past when they're still working together, knowing it'll cause some headlines, but I don't think that anything he said made her look bad in any way. And he did admit that he wasn't right to his partners in the past and he's learning for his new girlfriend. So that's what Cole had to say on Call Her Daddy. I certainly want to know what you guys think about this and the hate that he received just from the trailer. Let me know, and also if you guys watched this episode, tell me in the comments. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.